Where's my bumper?
It's up.
I don't see it. So you're going to have to cue me. Okay, there it is.
I never felt so free in the choices of my life.
Good morning, activists. We're here for another episode of The Accidental Activist. I got a great show lined up for you, but first I want to introduce Oz Fave, my co-host today and engineer.
Yeah, shit. This is starting to become a habit. People are going to get tired of looking at my ugly ass. But anyway.
You bring so much to the show. I love having you here to bounce things off. It makes my job easier.
I love facilitating your stuff too. So it's fun. Good morning. Hey, Barbara. Barbara. Good morning, Barbara.
Good morning.
Hey, ow.
Hey, good morning. Maybe the 10 o'clock slot is the better slot.
Yeah, well, it's the best slot, I think. I really I want to just lock up this 10 o'clock spot. So anytime somebody's off for the week, we'll just pop in here and make everything crazy. What happened here? I just lost you.
You lost me? Where did I go?
I don't know. Help.
Let me out.
There you go. Okay. There. Are you back? You're back. Hey.
I'm back.
So what's going on here while I figure this out?
Oh man, we got so much stuff to go over today. You know, it's funny. I didn't even have a show at 6 o'clock last night, and then just story after story after story fell on me. So I've done a lot of work in the last 12 hours on this show. I want to mention CHOP. We got a lot going on at CHOP. You know, I've been following the CHOP story. Today, the mayor has said that the city workers are going to come in and try to remove some of the barricades for CHOP. They tried this on Friday, but protesters literally laid on the ground in front of the bulldozers and heavy equipment. So the mayor gave up. We'll see what happens today. I'm following the story, and I'll probably give you guys an update sometime this week, depending on what happens there. What else do we got that I'm not covering today? So much stuff, but whatever we don't get to today, we'll definitely cover on the dive.
How about the Lincoln Project?
Yeah, I haven't had time to really run that.
That's the one with they're starting to blame Russia for.
Oh, well, we're going to cover some of that at the end of the show.
Oh, good. That's more RussiaGate stuff, and
more double down.
Yeah,
you know
double
how the
down.
Dems are.
Let's just do that. Not focus on what you are for, but what you're against. Okay.
Exactly. Okay, so we're going to start off today talking about the mayor of St. Louis and how she doxed Black Lives Matter leaders. So people who wanted to defund were outside protesting, and they had a list of demands or their suggestions for the city's budget. And I'm going to go ahead and roll the clip and let you see what she did.
Doxing.
Question, Mayor, about your meeting today with some demonstrators outside City Hall. She wants to know, how was that meeting and what did you talk about?
Well, thank you for that, Rachel. So there was a demonstration here in front, sort of on Tucker and Market here, and the demonstrators wanted to meet with me. So I went outside City Hall in the circle on the Tucker side of City Hall. The conversation wasn't really a two-way conversation, I'll be honest with you, because there was a very loud response from the demonstrators. And so they gave me some papers about how they thought. In fact, I'll go pick it up off my desk. Hang on.
Good job there.
Intentional, huh?
Yeah, this is great. I mean, walk out of frame. Okay, come back.
They presented some papers to me about how they wanted the budget to be spent. Here's one that wants $50 million to go to cure violence, $75 million to go to affordable housing, $60 million to go to health and human services, and have zero go to the police. So
it's not true.
So it's muted right now. You're not hearing because she's giving the address and the name of who wrote that letter out.
What? That's why it's muted?
That's why it's muted.
I thought I dropped the ball.
$75 million to cure violence, $210 million to affordable housing, $100 million to health and human services, zero to police.
So you can cut it there because she's giving another name and address
out. All these folks are at the same address, so maybe this is an office. Well, here's somebody.
There it is. Okay.
So basically she stands there and reads every one of those letters and gives the full name and the street address for the person who wrote it. And if you want to go grab my slide deck, I've got some slides of her apology.
Is that it right there? Kind of, sort of, I think.
Yeah. So that's her name is Mayor Cruson.
Cruson, like Wendy Cruson, the actress.
Yep. Yeah. And this is St. Louis.
Okay.
And if you want to pop to the next slide, we'll get to her statement.
All right.
Oh, I suppose I should put my glasses on so I can read it. It says, in an effort to be transparent and accessible to public during the COVID-19 pandemic, the last 3 months, I've done a tri-weekly community update on Facebook. And tonight, I would like to apologize for identifying individuals who presented letters to me outside of City Hall as I was answering routine questions during one of the updates earlier today. While this is public information, I did not intend to cause distress or harm to anyone. The post has been removed. And so I was asked, is this illegal? Is it illegal to give, we're talking St. Louis, and anybody who's been in St. Louis knows that, there's a lot of racial tension in St. Louis, to put it nicely.
Yeah, it's so, fingering them. Is that next slide go with this one, the ACLU?
Yeah, there's a black slide. So this is a statement from the ACLU of Missouri. It's kind of small, so I'm going to get close. It says, today adds to the list of things we never thought we would have to say. To be clear, it is shocking and misguided for Mayor Leidy Cruson of St. Louis to broadcast the addresses of those who dare to express a different viewpoint of the issues of public concern. It serves no apparent purpose beyond intimidation. We are stronger when we foster open dialogue. The chilling of the debate should bother everyone, no matter whether you agree or disagree with the mayor on these particular issues. So that's a statement from the ACLU.
Yeah, I mean, this is housekeeping. I mean, this mayor obviously doesn't know the proper way to roll on this, because admittedly, we try and watch ourselves even in social media by just using first names, but we are of the opinion that most people have their avatar names in these things, and they're okay because you see them visually. But this one, giving the full name of local people, that's doxing, and I would sue her or have her impeached or do something.
Right? Can you imagine these poor people? I mean, I haven't heard any reports of people surrounding their houses or causing issues, but I would not count it out. Definitely.
No,
it's scary to me because I do make public comment a lot of times for issues locally, city council, that type of stuff. And I give my name and address willingly, but I don't think that it's going to be broadcast to the whole county or the whole country,
Yeah. No, that's something, but I'm going to dox Cheese Man. Good morning, Cheese Man. Hey, Cheese Man.
Good morning.
Cheese Man.
Dingo ate my babies here.
Yeah,
Good morning, Dingo.
Yeah, we got Al and Barbara. Hey, guys, good morning. Good morning.
Randy.
It's Sunday. What the hell are you doing up? You're supposed to sleep in today,
I know. If I didn't have this, I would be still sleeping.
Yeah, I know. It is something. I'm searching around here for our other post, and I'm still looking for it.
Yeah, this story, we actually talked about this story on the dive on Wednesday, but we didn't know the actual story when we talked about it.
Yeah. Oh, this is it. This is it right here. The pool thing.
Yeah. So the first clip on this is 3 dead in an above ground pool. And so on Wednesday, Whitney, Alex, and I were talking. She said, "Did you hear about the 3 people that were found dead in a pool?" And the official narrative at that time was they had electrocuted. There was obviously something going on with the pool, and each person that would go to the water would fall in and die. Well, we also were told it was an in-ground pool at the time. So, the official story and narrative that came out on Wednesday, we just thought, what a terrible tragedy. Now's the time to start thinking about water safety with summer coming on. That's basically the stance we took on it. Well, turns out Friday night, we had Tommy G on Twitter, and you can find him at Tommy G on Twitter. He decided he was going to start going in a little bit deeper into this story because it turned out that the coroner said, well, they weren't electrocuted. Okay, so how do three people die in a pool, an above ground pool? Because now we found out this is an above ground pool. So an above ground pool is normally what? 5 feet, 6 feet max.
Yeah, it's,
I mean-
it's usually 3.5 to 4 feet to the edge.
Right.
And again, why are they showing a picture of an in the ground stock photo? Is
Right.
that
So this right here is the official narrative. 3 members of a New Jersey family found dead in pool, but it's an above ground pool, and that's not the pool. It's not the house. They just took a stock picture of a pool. And it goes on to say that a 62-year-old, a 33-year-old, and an 8-year-old child were accidentally drowned in a pool, says the prosecutor. Basic story. Well, it just doesn't smell right, right? It
No,
doesn't
it stinks.
taste right?
It stinks.
And so I think, okay. So in the next clip, we'll get into the neighbors, what the neighbors were saying, because nobody can believe that 3 people drowned in an above ground pool all at the same time, especially when one of the neighbors heard them screaming for help.
is this
So,
is this the clip here?
Is this embedded in that article?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I think this is the son finding out that his whole family is dead.
Let's see if it'll play. We've been having
Yeah,
trouble.
I hadn't even watched this part of the clip, but we can
No,
play it.
I
I think it might be embedded in the next one I've got.
Okay, so there is another clip. Let me search around here real quick because this one's
Yeah,
not, this
we're going to
one's
move to
not
the
even
Jason
playing.
Bermas was one. So I want to explain to you guys who Jason Bermas is. Jason Bermas is a free thinker. You're going to find him on Rokfin alongside us in the Free Thinkers. Jason Bermas worked for InfoWars for 10 years. He worked under Alex Jones, which people go, no. But the thing about that is so him and Luke Wadowski, they spun off of InfoWars when they saw Alex Jones going over the edge, right?
Yeah.
And they formed We Are Change. Now, We Are Change is a popular channel on YouTube. I do follow Luke. He tends to break to the right on many things, which I don't always agree with. But him and Bermas split up about a year ago, and Jason's had his own channel. Jason is a researcher. He researched for Alex Jones. So, I do follow a lot of people that like Melissa Dykes and Truthstream.
Yeah.
These people did work for Alex Jones because they are very skilled researchers. They know how to go in and actually find the truth. Turns out that this guy worked for NextGen. He just moved from Tacoma to, I think it's New Brunswick. And so we're going to play a few clips of Jason Bermas, and we're going to break the story down.
Oh yeah, this is the big one. I keep getting Jason Bermas mixed up. I got to. Is this a aerial shot? I'm thinking it is an aerial.
That's
shot.
the actual pool. That's the
Yeah.
actual back of the house. So that's the above ground pool that all
Okay.
3 were found in.
Let me start clipping this here, and then I'll stop it at 150.
Yeah, you can play the first 150 of this.
Okay, you got it. Anytime you want to start, Jason.
Hey everybody, Jason Bermas here, and I'm not going to lie. This one is a very, very odd and disturbing story that I ran across, and then I heard another headline, so I didn't follow up on it until someone sent me an interesting thread. And I'll be quite honest, I'm not sure if I've ever been on this podcast, but we ended up following each other. He was following me, I was following him, and essentially it was a story about how 3 people had been found, a family, drowned in a pool. Now, when you hear that alone, it seems very odd. But then the sub-story I saw a couple days later was they were electrocuted. That turns out not to be the case. You would think that's really the only way that it would have been possible for 3 people to drown in an above-ground pool. And this is a really tragic incident. You had a 62-year-old. Then you had his daughter-in-law, who was 32, and then an 8-year-old child, an 8-year-old daughter. Very, very scary stuff. What's scarier yet is now it's just being ruled that all 3 of them drowned and didn't know how to swim. And that just doesn't pass the smell test, doesn't pass the mustard. So we're going to show you where you can get more information than I'm even going to be going into in this video. And we're going to show you who this 62-year-old was, Bharat, I'm probably butchering it, Patel. And he has some very...
Yeah,
Rat
I just
cartel.
want to qualify something here. Okay, let's take a look at Jason Bermas. optically, people are going to stereotype this guy, this kid, this younger gentleman as being, just whatever, the YouTubes. But I got to tell you, he looks like so many people that I work with on a daily basis optically. And these people are some of the sharpest, best researched, best vetting people around. So this old paradigm of old fuckers like me being bald guys especially, or the Brian Williams or the ABC News, those guys are gone. All they are propagandists. We need to look for ourselves, citizens journalism. I mean, this even kind of looks a little bit like Cheese. I hope I'm not insulting you, Cheese Man, but
He reminds me of Cheese.
Yeah, he does. I mean, so when we're looking at the optics and where they're coming from, we have been pushed to the point of using the YouTubes, the Rokfins, the other platforms, because the big companies, the Disneys, the Viacoms, and everybody are basically gobbling this network up. But remember, everybody, no matter what age you are, turn your bullshit detectors on for anybody you're watching. And this guy, I can't wait to go on. I just wanted a segue with that.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Bermas has been demonetized 100% on YouTube and has been for many years just because of the subjects that he covers. He is above the two-party paradigm. He is, you won't see him supporting left or right, on anything that he's talking about. He supports the truth. And I respect him for that. I take a lot of shit because I look at a lot of different media. I don't just stay in our progressive lane. I'm looking at the left, I'm looking at the right, I'm looking at those above the paradigm, and I'm looking at others in other countries, because we know that the media in the United States is all generated by the AP and regurgitated by every other affiliate.
Let's vomit it along. Yeah.
You guys can come at me because then that's fine. You don't like Jason Bermas because he worked for InfoWars, but this kid is a hell of a researcher. Very few times in the last 5 years of following Jason have I seen him be wrong about something. And if he is wrong, he is the first one to say, that was misinformation. He puts it out there. Yeah. So we're going to fast forward up to 418 on this one.
418. And again,
we're going to talk about who this guy was that they found floating in the pool with his whole family.
All right. Let's hear what he's got to say.
And if you look at this gentleman here, he's from Tacoma, Washington.
Uh-oh.
This Barrett Patel. But if you see Next Gen, Fairlay, later on you'll see other places, such as Pune University. I'm probably butchering that as well. Where is it? Let's see. There it is, University of Pune. And there is a previous account here, which I think we're going to really need to get into because it reveals some other interesting things other than being a Next Gen. So let's go to this news story here and see what the neighbors had to say.
In East Brunswick with more on this. Jessica?
Well, Christine, the family only moved into this house behind me about a month ago. Barely enough time to get to know the neighbors, but it was a next door neighbor who heard the mother outside screaming for help, so she called 911.
So let's stop. First things first. I want to hear that 911 call, number one, okay? And number two, I want to hear from the person that made that 911 call what exactly she heard. Did she hear, help, I'm being attacked? Help, they're both dead? I mean, what exactly did this person hear?
And when police arrived, they came to find two adults and that child dead in the swimming pool. A man clearly overcome with pain and emotion is consoled outside a home on Clearview Road in East Brunswick, a home that was surrounded by police, ambulances, and new neighbors late into the evening Monday.
It's just terrible.
Chopper 2 shows the large above-ground swimming pool in the backyard where 3 people were found dead. A 62-year-old man, an 8-year-old girl, and her 32-year-old mom.
Now let's stop it right here. It's an above-ground pool. Now there is some reporting.
Okay.
So right there, you're getting from the neighbors. That clip goes on for like 2 minutes where they're interviewing the neighbors in that neighborhood. And they're talking about, well, this family just moved here a month ago from Tacoma, Washington. If you were working for a subsidiary of Microsoft, Tacoma would probably be where you would be living, right? So Next Gen is a subsidiary of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And if you want to look into what they work on at NextGen, please do a little bit of research. It is amazingly mind-blowing when it comes to the technology that they're working on there, which kind of coincides with a lot of what we're seeing nowadays, especially in light of COVID. And so the neighbors say how crazy it is that a whole family would drown in an above ground pool, especially when this woman is screaming for help. I mean, would she scream for help and then run over to the pool and fall in herself and drown?
No, I can't see, with the IQ level of what's being presented here, I find it hard to believe.
Right.
I don't want to hear conspiracy theory. I want the goddamn facts like Berman's asking for here. I want you to interview. This is not a embargoed news station like CBS, and that wasn't Fox. This is CBS affiliate.
Right.
So again, this is what we need to do. Critical thinking skills. No matter where you're getting your news from, break it down, because how many times has the mainstream media had to silently recant what they said before because it was wrong or taken wrong or found out to be false? So,
can I just tell you that when this story fell in my lap yesterday, I felt like it was shades of Seth Rich, because I remember the day that we found out Seth Rich had died, and because I was working with the DNC, I was a volunteer, I was all volunteering for DCCC shit. So to hear that somebody like me that was working within the DNC had been robbed and murdered in DC, it set us all back. Like, whoa, but almost instantly, the story didn't make sense that we were hearing from the AP when it came to Seth Rich. And, if it wasn't for people like Jason Bermas and everybody who tracked down the Seth Rich story, the official narrative right now still is that he was robbed. But most of the country doesn't believe that. We know it went much deeper. And I think this is another type of story like that. I think that the official narrative will stay that these people drowned, but if we go much deeper, I think we're going to know there was foul play involved.
Absolutely. So you're saying this was a hit because of possibly something uncovered, and I know we're trying to stretch out here, but so many things are going crazy these days, and we're getting this pablum garbage propaganda from mainstream media, even local affiliates on stuff, but it's harder for them because they don't have the national stage or the backing. But with eyewitnesses in your local area, it's harder to sell shit. So there again.
Absolutely. So we're going to finish this one out 7:40.
D Health Incorporated. Okay, and this guy has a long CEO. All right, he's the real deal. And when I'm talking about, you talk about Fusion Biopharma, CEO, all right? But what I really want to talk about right now is his education and show you how far back of a player this guy is. All right? When we get down to his education, when he was at Fairleigh Dickinson University, okay? And we're talking 88 to 1990, he patented voice biometric security software. Let that sink in. Forget about just biomedical and big pharma works with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. He's patenting voice biometric security software. Okay? He's talking about a thesis on the role of generic pharmaceuticals in the healthcare system. All right? This guy goes deep and for a long, long time. So now you look, and again, NextGen, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. All right, and yes, of course, they're not only involved in health, but in food, because that's what this is about. This is about total control of your lives. And I'm sorry.
Okay, I think I missed the cut mark. Now, I want...
No, that's okay. I mean, it covered what...
I definitely want to, like our chat, we always say, challenge us on things.
And we are getting some pushback. Melissa H. is saying, hey, it's possible that all three, the kid fell in the pool, the grandpa went in to save her, and then the mom went in to save them all, and they all drowned,
Yeah.
I find that highly unlikely. My critical thinking skills say... I just don't think that's possible, especially with an above ground pool. If you notice, the investigators were standing next to the pool. it only came to about their chest, maybe.
Right.
So I
If
mean,
that.
why wouldn't they just stand up?
Honestly, and Melissa, I
question
get it. Yeah, I question it, and this is what we need to do. But that's what we call using critical thinking skills and being substantive in our approach. I had an above ground pool similar to this when I was a kid, and it had a 6.5 foot deep end. It was smaller. It wasn't this big, but again. I'm wondering if we're ever going to see pictures of Patel in a swimming pool in his history at all. That's the other thing. But
Right.
with all the weird
But
shit
who
that's
buys
going
a
on,
house that has a pool if they don't know how to swim?
that's the big thing. Who the hell? My wife does not know how to swim. She's in her mid-40s. And you know what? She doesn't know how to swim. She's afraid of water. She won't look at a pool. She won't, and the best she does is walking along the sand in the ocean. So there's a lot of psychology behind people who can't swim. And I just, this one stinks. And
Yeah, when you can't swim, you can't swim and you're scared of the water. My grandmother couldn't swim.
Yeah,
and she was
usually.
scared
So-
to death of the beach.
So in all fairness, absolutely, Melissa. I mean,
And you can drown in 2 inches of water. We know that.
yeah, you can drown.
in a
Yeah,
bathtub.
you can drown in. I almost drowned in a toilet bowl one time because I had a rough night. So that's
drunk, guys.
yeah. I mean, but for sure. So this is questionable, especially with connections with Bill Gates and the World Health Organization and the Clinton Foundation and all this shit. And
this
I
guy's
know,
education.
I mean, what would be the point of this guy putting up an article and just asking the questions? He's not like that crazy that goes in and tries to fake out everybody. You know what I'm talking about, but.
Right. And I mean, Bermas isn't saying, and really Bermas got this story from Tommy G. So there, you can go on Twitter right now, at Tommy G. He does a complete breakdown of his trip down the rabbit hole on this on Friday night. He's drinking a little and he tells you plain out, this seems kind of crazy. I might wake up tomorrow and just think it's all BS, but he really did some great research. When you start seeing who this guy was, what he was working on and who he was working for, it makes you question really what happened.
Yeah, Jesus says, I don't know how to swim, but I still go to the beach. Yeah, so does my wife. I mean, but, when it comes to my encouraging her, matter of fact, I said, you need to learn how to swim. She's just definitely afraid of it. So, yeah, and people are stupid.
Yeah, and as you get older,
Yes,
I
Melissa.
get it. So,
Yeah.
hey, maybe they drowned.
Maybe they did.
Maybe
not.
there's
It's
foul
just
play.
it's just one of these other stories that happened to crack, and it was a high-profile person that had something to do with a lot of stuff that we're working with in today's world. So.
Right, but I just thought it was crazy that Whitney and I were talking about this on the dive the
Oh,
other
yeah.
day.
Yeah.
As these poor people were electrocuted in your pool. Please be safe around
Yeah.
pools and extension cords. And then
Yeah.
it kind of developed into something more.
Sure, I'd be more willing to buy the electrocution because cords and things and shit. But again, I can understand how this possibly could have happened. But I'm glad you covered it anyway. It's kind of like perks up
Right.
the interest.
And I will keep an eye on the story. If we start putting pressure on the local police there, maybe they will release the 911 calls and we can get a better listen to what the heck was going on, what the neighbors thought was going on. So I'll keep every story that I present to you guys, I follow up with. So I will keep an eye on it and I'll keep you updated. So we're going to move into Deb Della Piana. Deb has Shut the Fuck Up on YouTube. It's an amazing channel. Deb started out as a Bernie supporter, 5-6 years ago, 5 years ago. And then she was one of those that woke up to election fraud and realized we're not going to change anything at the ballot box. It's time to get out in the streets. And this is a beautiful Shut the Fuck Up from this weekend.
Okay,
I'm going to let her rant a little bit, and then I want to talk about what she's working on and what she's planning for October.
And that's we're starting off at the 7:40 mark, everybody, just so you know. And
This is a great rant, though. Go listen to the whole thing.
She's my foul-mouthed aunt, I think.
I think so.
Wow.
But that people have the right to wear them if they want. I do. I believe that's every individual's fucking choice. I don't believe I have a right to tell you what to do. You don't have a right to tell me what the fuck to do. But no politician has a right to set mandates for the people. That is exactly why we're telling you to come in October. If you think your posting poses any threat to these idiots, you're in Dreamville. Just like, I don't know, you unhappy with the mask mandate? I got an idea. Let's do a petition on the White House site. As if that's going to make a difference. I must get 50 petitions a day in my email from people still doing fucking change.org as if signing those things mean fucking anything. They pose no threat to the powers. The powers are reveling in their control. And you're arguing banalities on Facebook. You're arguing whether you should be on the street because the Antifa might be out there. Or Black Lives Matter. You don't like them. The fucking people in France don't worry about who they're on the street with. They're just on the fucking street. Here in America, we have to wait for the pure revolution to happen before we're going to take part. Only certain people can be in the revolution. Well, guess what? That's a fucking lie. That's bullshit. You don't get to pick who you're on the street with. There's all kinds of people in this country that are citizens. Now, you either want to be free or you fucking don't. You know, funny thing happened on the way to October. I was on the streets for some of this shit that went on after George Floyd was killed. I didn't care. I wasn't looking to see who was there. And I can tell you, it isn't all what everyone says it is. Oh, it's just Antifa and Black Lives Matter and no one else is out there. You know what? That's bullshit. That's bullshit.
So you want to elaborate on this for us?
Yeah, she makes some great points. You know, her first rant, she's ranting about people on Facebook fighting over wearing masks or not to wear masks. You know, and she makes some beautiful points about how we don't have the right to tell anybody what the fuck to do. You know, people are like, oh, it's a fake pandemic. Prove it's a fake fucking pandemic. You can't. Just like you can't prove it's real either, you know, especially when you're fighting with these people. So that's a beautiful rant that she does. It's definitely worth a watch. But I really like her stance on the whole Black Lives Matter, Antifa in the streets thing. You know how many times I've heard in the last month, well, I'm not going to go out and protest because Antifa's on the streets and I don't want to look like I'm supporting Antifa or, you know, the anarchists or whatnot. Do they really say that in France? Oh, I can't go out and protest because there might be some bad actors out there, you know?
Yeah, but they're going to pour another bowl of Cheerios and they're going to turn on the MSM, right?
Yeah. I'd rather be sitting here eating MS.
Yeah, it's easy to, you know, be an armchair quarterback and all this stuff, but you know, again, getting out on the streets is where it is. And once I get pulled on the plug on the net, then I'm going to be out in the streets, whether it's in my wheelchair, or my walker, or somebody's going to be there with me. I mean, that's all we're going to have left. So
right, and thank you, Al. Wonderful, yay! I'm having a good morning. So, Deb is planning. Deb has a group called the Ungovernables, Become Ungovernable. So you can go to becomeungovernable.net or .org or .information. And this is her website here, Become Ungovernable. And Deb's been preaching this for a long time now that, you know, we're not going to enact change at the ballot box. We're not going to sway these people that are in control by asking nicely, by filling out petitions. The only way it's going to change is if we take to the streets. So Deb is planning an ungovernable rally or march or get together in Washington, D.C., October 3rd through the 5th at the Reflection Pond. Now, you can get information. The only way Deb will communicate with you, which is smart, is by Proton Mail. So she's asking you if you want information to get a Proton Mail and email her. You can find the information on the website, and that is becomeungovernable.org.info or .net to get a hold of her. And they're going to take to the streets and start demanding. And I got to support her on this. I just, you know, we know how much. Wow, Kathy! Wow, you guys are rocking my morning.
Yeah, let's take a pause here and recognize these chatters. I mean, I don't know what to tell you guys. The kind of support that we're getting from everybody, it's just growing. And I was talking to Chanda this morning about finding our lane. You know, we're nothing. We're not at the level that the Convo or Graham or Jimmy or anybody. We don't expect to be. It doesn't matter that much to us where we're at in the grand scheme of things. Had we started this in 2015, we'd probably be up there with them. You know, because we would have improved and everything else. But what we're doing this for is primarily you guys, the people that need to find a place where they can relate to, you can relate to. And that's what we sincerely love about our sisters and brothers that follow these shows on any of the shows, on Pasta and Fees or you know, Graham or any of them, Christine's, all these shows, because we see a lot of you in those shows. So when you give us, you know, a couple of bucks here, 20 bucks, 10 bucks there, it does mean a lot. It goes to Uphill Media. If you go to our Patreons, we get it personally for our infrastructure. But we want to be clear. We do sincerely appreciate it. And we want to recognize that more and more. We're building. We had a board meeting with Uphill Media the other night. We're going forward. We're bringing more people into Rokfin that aren't on that platform. Sandy, the Environmental Coffee House, she's joining Uphill Media over there until she can get her own branded channel at Rokfin, which is great. So we are facilitators. We're trying to get the thought out there. And I don't want to go too much longer, so I'm going to let this go. But I do want to feature all these donations. We've got Al here with $10. Give independent media funds to bring us unique perspectives, and that's what you're going to hopefully fucking get. If you don't get unique perspectives, let us know. Email us. Tell us. I mean, this is what we want. We want to think outside the box, outside the peg, outside the parameters of what the mainstream media has done over the years. So again, we certainly appreciate it, and Chanda is busting her ass, and we've got other shows in the pipe. Thank you so much. Chanda, you want to finish out my rant for me?
Well, yes, thank you guys. You know, I don't do this because I think I'm going to become an internet star. I mean, it's virtually impossible right now with the way the algorithms are, the shadow bans. I do this for you guys. I do this for the 20 people in the chat every morning to bring you guys a unique perspective on stories that you're not going to hear in the AP or from mainstream media, you know, and question everything. That's our job, is to question everything. So you guys make it easier when you're helping us keep the lights on. You know, Oz, he has to pay for all these services that we use, but our bumper costs money. Everything that we're working on, you know how it is, costs money. So this just goes into the kitty to help us get those shows produced and out there for you guys to watch. Thank you, Auntie Anne. Every little bit helps.
Was there a white supremacist rally in St. Louis this weekend? I thought there was.
I think there was. And at the same time that the mayor is doing this, you know, somebody said to me last night, well, St. Louis needs an Occupy Zone too. And they said they would call it slop. And I was like, well, that sounds terrible. Yeah,
it does. It does. And all these things coincide with the weirdest kind of stuff. I'm waiting for a couple of these to pop up. Melissa says, we had a lot of subscribers. Melissa's been with Uphill Media forever. We have to spread the word and get back to the new viewers too. I talk it up, Uphill Media, in every chat I'm in, and invite people. We love you, Melissa. And we know that you're doing this, and we're trying to do it. I'm so busy, I can't even find a place to sit sometimes because I'm running around so much. Al Walski. Al, you know, I think, Al, you nail it right here with the... I'm concerned that independent media is drying up. Not good for democracy. Hell yeah, it is drying up. It is drying up because they are crushing us. They are crushing us. They are crushing, you know, everybody talks about free speech. For Christ's sake, the corporations, we're handing our legislators, the FCC, they're handing our voices, our freedom of speech over to corporations so they can screw the public. Chanda and I and Rhonda and Amber and Suzanne and Kelly, we're all about joy. Oh my God. We're all about independent free speech. We want to talk about these subjects. We want to talk about all of them. You know, the veganism, Cheese Man, about, you know, what's good about it. If it works for you, we want it to work. You know, the animal cruelty. I know that Cheese Man's probably the most passionate one here about, you know, like Fairlife Farms, where they beat the hell out of the livestock to get the last drop of juice out of them, which makes us sick. We want to talk about these stories, even from Jason Berman, which I say even because he's been deplatformed and knocked down because of associations, but he doesn't live with any of those associations. He's calling what he sees. So again, thank you guys. I digress. Let's get back to Deb, and anybody want to make any comments, please reach out. We want to get you on the show if you're up to it too.
Yeah, please. I mean, hey, I was just a viewer 3 months ago. You know, I didn't want to stick my toe in the independent media pool, and these guys were like, "Come on, Chanda, come on, you got the knowledge, we need you." And here I am, you know, pumping them out every day now, and you too can do this. It's up to us. We are the media. You know, even if I'm only reaching 20 of you guys a day, that's 20 people that are going to tell 20 people that are going to tell 20 people the fucking truth.
Yeah, well, you're hitting people on Facebook now, Chanda. You're getting the following there. We're on Rokfin.
It's so wonderful when I come into a chat now on YouTube and everybody sees the accidental activists and they're like, "Yay, Shanda's here." That makes me feel so good that you guys recognize me. You know that I'm out there working hard for you guys. So thank you so much.
Yeah, and please consider coming on the show. You know, even if it's a phone in with your picture, just come on, because we need your voices, damn it. I mean, reach out, friend us. You know, you can find me on Facebook. You know, it's the Land of Oz. Just reach out, go in there. Anyway,
bring us your content and stories.
Yeah,
too.
we
Even
want
if you don't
to
wanna
talk
be
about
online.
it. Yeah.
Send us a message like, "Hey, look into this. Something seems fishy about this."
Yeah.
You know, we have no problem diving down deep. So, let's finish up with Deb.
Yep, let's finish up with Deb. Okay, this is starting at 17. Let's go on.
17.
You know, I know some of the people out there that are saying this is all fake. You know what you are? You're purveyors of fake information, because you can't prove any of that. What I can prove is that based on the numbers, we didn't need this lockdown the way it was. And it wasn't even really a lockdown as far as I'm concerned, because I've been working since day one. Same amount of hours a week, every week. I didn't even have to use my safe passage letter once. I wasn't stopped one time. I wasn't stopped. We had a curfew. I wasn't stopped at all. By the way, I think curfews are ridiculous. I don't see how that lowers an infection rate. Sorry. But you know what? I'm not doing this so I can tell other people what to think, and so that I can belittle them when they do wear a mask. You know what? That's so ridiculous and childish. It makes you wonder. If it doesn't make you wonder why we're here, maybe you ought to look around. The people on the streets right now, they're doing the right thing. Because you know what? None of this changes, none of this stops, unless you accept the fact that that's the way it has to be. Until you pose a significant threat to these people and their entrenched positions. And I do not mean voting. I'm sorry. Voting in this system to try to clean this system is as pointless as discussing masks until your eyes fucking bleed. When you discuss shit like masking, you go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. That's exactly what they fucking want you doing. Every day, they want you doing that. And by the way, I'm sorry, but literally, some of the people you expect me to believe are giving me correct science information.
Oh, you can cut it.
God, I agree with her maybe 55% of the time.
And, there's been times where, especially during the last Bernie campaign, that I couldn't even watch that because she was just like, "You're a fucking idiot. You're a fucking idiot. You're a fucking idiot. Quit falling for this shit."
Yeah, I get that vibe. I don't care for her style, but yeah, I have to say, when somebody is doing their thing and saying what they want to feel, this is what we advocate, right? And we gave her a little platform here this morning. And again, I probably agree with maybe half of what she's saying, but what that half I agree with, I really agree with. So, I don't agree with not wearing the masks at all. And
no, and she wears a mask, and she basically, this whole rant is talking about how people on Facebook are fighting over.
It's the game. They get us into this game where we're fighting about things that should be a given one way or the other, but we're not focusing on what we need to be focusing on is the goddamn corruption in our government, the bought off media, everything. It's like, oh, we're going to make them fight over masks this week. Okay.
Right. And how do we change that? We don't change that by going to the ballot box and watching our progressives lose.
No. And
we change that by getting our asses in the street. And really, that was the whole point of this. Love Deb, hate Deb. She's still independent media. She's still talking her truth out there. So I'll give her a platform.
I agree. Absolutely. Because it's not been a personal thing. It's her views, and that's what we're looking at. So again, we're not going to play favorites here necessarily.
Right.
So.
Well, my question is if you're wearing a mask, who the fuck are you hurting?
Yeah.
I mean, is it hurting that person who, my civil liberties? Well, then don't wear a mask, but I'm going to wear a mask. And if I go out, I'm going to stay away from you if you don't have a mask on.
Yeah. And again, the lockdowns and the numbers speak for themselves. And some of these people who were knocking the masks and fighting about the masks have ended up with COVID. How many of them are going to die?
Right. I mean, and the numbers for COVID, I've covered COVID a lot. We covered it Thursday night. We are seeing the numbers just astronomically shoot up this last week. I mean, we saw 45,000 cases on Friday. I haven't seen the official numbers for Saturday, but, these numbers with the death toll doesn't coincide. So some places are stating that if you look at the R0 on the COVID, that only 3% are dying or less than 3%, depending on what graph you're looking at. So I just say, well, okay, fine. If it's only killing 1%, I bet you if you talk to the 1% in their family, they're fucking upset about it, So I don't care if it's killing 0.5%,
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a valid argument.
I'm toggling a few of these comments because, we need to do this. We need to get these up here so everybody can see them in future. Instead of the chat pop out, you can see them. And again, I don't like her style either, Jilly. I mean, there's some high profile social media talkers. I just don't like their style. It doesn't mean that they're not necessarily right in my opinion. I mean, but
there's a lot of progressive ones I don't follow.
Yeah.
I do follow, but I don't watch on a regular basis just because I don't like their style.
Yeah, that's it. It's all style. And folks that don't like our style, why not? We're lovable and huggable. At least I'm huggable. I don't know about you.
Yeah, just try hugging me, see where it gets you.
Watch out. Oh, we've got our favorite topic coming up, don't we?
Oh, yeah. I did this segment just for you, Oz, because I know you've been going just batshit since this dropped yesterday.
Yeah. I have been going batshit. You ready to run it? Or you want to?
Yeah, so I called this segment Russia, because now we are seeing the Democrats not only double down on the Russian narrative, but now they're throwing some treasonous acts in there. Trump was given a security briefing and now it's treason. So we're going to go ahead and hear what Biden incoherently has to say about that.
What does Joe have to say about what he's about instead of what he's not about?
I'd like to start today by briefly addressing what I consider to be a horrifying revelation in the New York Times last night. Yeah. Assuming the Times report is accurate, the U.S. intelligence, the U.S. intelligence community has assessed that a Russian military intelligence unit, the same unit that was behind the assassination of the former KGB agent in London 5 years ago, has been offering bounties to extremist groups in Afghanistan to kill U.S. troops. There is no bottom to the depth of Vladimir Putin and the Kremlin's depravity, if that's true. It's truly shocking revelation that if the Times report is true, I emphasize again, is that President Trump, the commander-in-chief of American troops serving in a dangerous theater of war, has known about this for months, according to the Times, and done worse than nothing. Not only has he failed to sanction or impose any kind of consequences on Russia for this egregious violation of international law, Donald Trump has continued his embarrassing campaign of deference and debasing himself before Vladimir Putin. He has this information according to the Times, and yet he offered to host Putin in the United States and sought to invite Russia to rejoin the G7. His entire presidency has been a gift to Putin, but this is beyond the pale. It's a betrayal of the most sacred duty we bear as a nation, to protect and equip our troops when we send them into harm's way. And it's betrayed. It's a betrayal of every single American family with a loved one serving in Afghanistan or anywhere overseas. And I'm quite frankly outraged by the report. And if I'm elected president, make no mistake about it, Vladimir Putin will be confronted and will impose serious cost on Russia.
You know,
can you even believe that?
I can't even believe that clip. It's like Trump, Russia, Trump. What? And he's shielding himself through his verbiage, which is teeth rattling in his fucking head, about if this article is true. Assuming this article is true. All these Q words that saying, so that to me is like plausible deniability. If I'm speaking out and this turns out to be false, which I believe it is false, I hope Aaron Matei and Glenn Greenwald.
Aaron, do us a favor.
Yeah, just get this out of the way, because this is part of this Lincoln Project crap. The same origins in the same place, the Russiagate thing. I mean, those in the chat who believe the Russiagate, I'm sorry that we are going to disagree till the next coming of the Sky Ferry. I got to tell you.
Yeah, and this is why the Russian narrative was so dangerous. You know, I saw the Russian narrative coming on before it actually was launched. So,
yeah, me too.
Back in 2016, you know, I'm running independent media groups. I'm trying to wake older people up at our local Democrats of here is some independent media sources that you can look at. So I say, I want to say it was Lee Camp or something in RT, and they lost their fucking minds. Oh my God, Russian TV. What are you doing watching RT? They literally bought me a subscription to the New York Times. And I was so offended, like, how dare you buy me a subscription to this shit? I don't watch this garbage and you shouldn't either. But I didn't see it. I didn't see it at the time. I thought, why are they attacking Russia? That seems weird, you know?
Yeah.
Russia, Hillary Clinton's in bed with Russia, had been for many, many years. We knew that. So it was shocking to me that the Dems were attacking Russia. And then you fast forward 6 months later and there's Russiagate.
Yeah.
You know?
So the thing was a setup from the get-go. I mean, that's
Absolutely.
how you on any grift or con, you start salting it ahead of time. It's like
they
planning for an outcome, and there's several things that you do. When I plan to do an event in public, I start planning 6 months out. The minimum is 90 days, and that's for the public events. Social media events, we plan, the minimum is 6 weeks. We rather have 8 to 12 weeks, but that's how it works. That's how I roll, and many other planners do that. And I got to say, this Russia crap is getting so old. I can't take it anymore. I would have rather seen Biden come out and say, I'm going to be for Medicare for all. We're going to cancel student debt. Whatever. I mean, the dream list. That's delusional. But at least tell us what you're going to do, not what you're not going to do, you asshole.
Right. You know, and then to the point of the story. Okay. So, hey, by the way, Abby Martin in Empire Files dropped an amazing look into Afghanistan and the war, and breaks it down about all of the different resources we are there to steal and harvest. So go check out Empire Files, Abby Martin. But yeah, you know, the fact that they say, oh, well, Trump was briefed on this months ago and did nothing. Okay. Did they kill anybody? Did we have any servicemen been killed by this? That I haven't heard that. Have you?
I haven't heard a thing.
Right. So Trump was just supposed to react off of a briefing that he was given. And now if you look back, how many times did they said he shouldn't have reacted from a briefing?
Oh, yeah.
It's double standard. That's what the Dems do. I mean, how many times has Hillary Clinton said to us, never miss an opportunity, always double down, projection, come on. We always know they're projecting whatever they're doing.
That's part of the grift. That's part of the gaslighting. That's how you roll.
That's how you roll. Exactly. Rom taught us all that. So to speak to the New York Times credibility, I want to run a clip that dropped from The Resident on RT 2 days ago.
Oh, yeah. Russian propaganda network, right?
Yeah.
Not so much. I mean, when they're reporting facts, they're facts. Sorry.
Foreign agents.
Oh, we get an ad? No, this is Resident.
According to journalist Francis Robles, the New York Times newsroom will be closed until at least January, and they will be eliminating the communal spaces they just built. Robles covers Puerto Rico and Central America and files investigative reports for the paper, according to her Twitter bio. And she tweeted the information on June 22nd, which means that one of this country's supposedly most prestigious newspapers will be filed with reports that are all filed remotely, mostly by people who never leave their houses, who just sit on the internet all day, because that is how news gets made in today's incredibly stupid world. You see, journalists used to be people who would actually go out and leave their houses to track down the truth. They'd visit the place where the story took place. Imagine that! They'd interview face-to-face the people involved. They'd go to the library or official city buildings where official documents are held to see the actual physical evidence and facts of the story. They'd stake out places, then go back to the newsroom and collaborate with others to see what they'd found, and they'd put together a news story with actual facts and information. But that is not how it works today. Nope. Today they just go on the internet, usually to like the same 5 sources that confirm their bias, and just regurgitate whatever opinion-based drivel they want to promote.
I've got 2 schools of thought on this, but go right ahead. I don't want to rain on your parade.
Okay, well, The Resident, she's been out for 10 years now. I've been following her for many, many years. She does a great job of breaking this down. But my question is if the New York Times newsroom has been shut down, and it's confirmed that it is shut down, who phoned in this narrative that Biden is running with?
Well, yeah, ask the hard questions and get the easy answers, I guess, is what they're going for. So, I look at this like, okay, so they're reporting this. How can the so-called paper of note close their newsroom down? Well, we know that most of the information that's regurgitated, as the Resident says, is from AP, okay, which is Associated News. Who is AP? That's my big question. Are they on the ground reporters, or is it just somebody sitting on their ass in front of their computer trying to find, stories that might be of interest or of the caliber that they can do their propaganda thing? The other point is that in effect is what we're doing, but we are trying to count on people who actually get out in the streets and get these stories from people who are eyewitness, who do the research, not just sit on their ass on the internet and regurgitate more stuff. So I guess we're all trying to do that. But what's our motivation? Our motivation is get the real stories, the real facts, the real truth out there, whereas the Times and these other regurgitated newspaper, News Corp, they just want to peddle propaganda to fit the narrative. Is that fair? Is that a fair assumption?
Well, yeah, I mean, okay, it's fair that we do the same thing, but it is not fair in the fact that we're not reaching tens of millions of viewers and readers where, yeah, we are bringing facts out. They're just regurgitating whatever the AP is saying. And we've proven this over and over and over. When you can have one media clip and they're all saying the same shit per verbatim.
Per word, yeah. It's amazing.
Word. Like, we're not doing that.
No, we're not doing that. We're trying to bring our own set of skills, our own logic skills, what little I have, but when we all put it all together, we got a lot. So, what was the one a couple of weeks ago where the exact same story was written by a corporation? Was it Amazon? They wrote a press release, sent it to several of the News Corp medias, and they read it on air exactly like it was written. It was
Hot
like
off the wire.
hot off the wire. 50 from Amazon. I believe it was Amazon about, the good they're doing with their masks and how they treat their employees so well. Well, we all know that's bullshit. Just ask an Amazon employee that, won't show their face and stuff because they don't want to get fired, or the ones that do step up, like that vice president that couldn't stand to see his employees dying on the floor, the warehouse floor because of COVID, getting $10 an hour. I mean, this is reality, folks. And again, I implore anybody watching this video, those in the chat, you are the media, you are the press. So if you get a story, if you witness a story in your local jurisdiction, get it to social media to where we can have it. Put it on Twitter. I don't give a shit. Right. Bring it in here, email it to us, whatever, because you are the reporters. You're not sitting on your ass just gobbling the shit from AP. So, and Marcus is in here today. Marcus, Germany, he's very good about that. Yeah, no joke. They're very good about that. They analyze the stuff. They bring it to us on Saturday morning. The perspective from over in Germany and the UK. That's what we like. You guys can all do that. And we're not trying to put you to work, but yeah, we are trying to put you to work. Do your part.
Right. Yeah, I'm boycotting Amazon as much as I can too.
Yeah, well, so am I. Again, I did the mea culpa. I'm doing what I can to help where I can. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, AP just reports what the Pentagon says. Melissa H., you're 100% correct. Exactly. A lot of times these narratives are pushed from the Clinton Foundation, whatever, Amazon, whatever entity of the ruling elites. They want their message out there. They give it to the Washington Post, the New York Times, it doesn't matter. They all are mouthpieces for the corporate elite. So if you want to take your news sources from the New York Times or the Washington Post or any of these other nightmares, that's your choice. But know that you probably don't have the facts, and you definitely don't have the truth.
No, they don't. And yeah, AP and Reuters were publishing crap during the election and Russia scam. Yep. And yeah, they've been around for a long time, Pat. Yeah. And they have been co-opted by the donor class, by the same goddamn people, the corporate oligarchy that has taken over our government and our politicians and everything else. So if you get down to brass tacks, you're voting. Just the local elections, those are the ones that you can kind of follow and vet. But these national things, they go into fraction magic and black box voting and everything else. They steal your vote. Whoever wins in November, and I'm still saying Trumpty Dumpty, but if they want Biden to be the next president of the United States, the corporate oligarch's going to put him in there. So that's all I'm doing.
We know that the president is chosen in smoke-filled back rooms. They admitted it in court 3 fucking years ago with the DNC lawsuit, Nico House, and what was the Becks?
Yeah, the Becks. The Becks, the lawyers that were joy. Yeah, and what did the lawyers get out of it? They got to write a book and they got some fame and stuff, but that was
nightmare.
Yeah, headache, nightmare. Fear. It wasn't worth it to them, and I can only think of that it was worth it because at least they were on the right track for the truth in the matter. So again, I don't know.
Yeah, Amazon's so great to its workers. Not even.
No, they blow. I mean, yeah, and we help. It's just like every time we talk about animal cruelty and who was talking about eating fear? Was that that Marcus?
Fear tastes bitter.
Fear
right?
tastes bitter. Yeah, they did a big deal about that with but I just can't imagine what we've come to now. And you think of the millions and billions of people around the world that are just gobbling up the planet resources right and left. We're squeezing it out like a sponge, folks. So
Oh yeah, and if we're gonna go into a deep dive on the Green New Deal, I'm kind of looking around for the best guest to ask to come on. It'll probably be Christine, just because she's so well versed in it. But the way that we are raping the planet for all of these finite minerals and resources, really plays into these endless wars that we are in and these occupations that people don't even realize. We're occupying a lot of Africa just because we want their finite resources. Yep. Even even Afghanistan. Afghanistan has got some of the most rich
Mineral
pockets
deposits,
of
yeah.
resources of minerals that we need. So, like I said, please go check out that Abby Martin Empire Files if you really want the truth about Afghanistan. Of course, she does great deep dives into so many other countries too.
Yeah, she's terrific.
You know, the way we build here and the way we keep the lights on is by having our little secret things that we're doing. And Joey's coffee is one that we're talking about all the time, but we don't push it enough. You guys, if you want to buy some coffee, come buy it from us. Get Joey's coffee and know that you're helping independent media when you do.
Yeah, Joey, she grades the beans when they come in, and she grades them after she roasts them, and she roasts them to order. She's been doing this for 20 some odd years, self-made woman. And yeah, it really helps out. Thanks for the plug. And that's one way we keep the lights on. If we can keep, just sell one order of coffee with every show we do, that would keep us healed up and keep us moving in the right direction a lot. So thank you again, Chanda.
Yeah, and you're right, Jilly. Poppies and heroin. Yes, we do buy poppies and opium from India and Pakistan, but they know that they can bleed the pharmaceutical companies. So we basically, while we were in Afghanistan, said, oh, well, let's make this our resource here. So yes, we are getting a lot of, and everybody knows the United States is addicted to opiates, and they're feeding it. So we're going to do a dive into that too. I'm a recovering opiate addict. I know a lot about this subject. So I definitely got some premium content lined up on these topics. So it's a Sunday morning. I want everybody to get a nap, get some breakfast. And I think we're going to roll out of here. Oz, you got any closing thoughts?
I don't have any more shows today, but what we do, it's we're done today. I'm going to get out and work on the greenhouse. Cheese Man, you'd like what I'm doing with the greenhouse here. It's going to be great. We got the dive tomorrow morning, and Joy is going to be launching her book this week. She's having some eye surgery on Tuesday, so it's all unfortunate, but she is going to do a show Monday. I don't know when we're going to premiere that, but then we got the dive, and we've got Accidental Activists on Thursday, and I know you're going to have a lot for us then too, like you did today. Thank you so much, Chanda. It was great. Thanks to everybody in the chat, and thank you for helping us out. The super chats are fantastic. We're going to keep limping along, and every time we just get you in here just to support us, hit the like and the share if you can, and spread it around and talk about it, and agree to disagree when you want to, and we'll throw it up there. And that's
always agree to disagree.
Always agree to disagree. Who are we going out with here?
This is a cover. Some of you may have heard the grandson closer that we had on No Joke last night or yesterday, which was actually today's show. But I found another one of a different song. This is called Stick Up. It is Grandson. Grandson is an amazing activist. For the last 4 or 5 years, I kept saying, if one musician would just start writing some really deep protest songs, I think they would do great.
Yeah.
I think that's Grandson. Grandson has really tackled this, and this song really speaks to, the state of our employment in this country, and just letting, the lower class fall by the wayside. They don't care that they're not working, that they don't have jobs. So I just want to tell you guys, there ain't no power like the power of the people. Get your boots in the streets and have a great day.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody. Talk to you soon.
Tom is a good father of 2 sons and a daughter, but he wakes up, he asks himself, why even bother if he cannot feed his family? The wage is paid insanity. Every day he's dealing with a new calamity. Lost his whole occupation, but it wasn't immigration. It was a machine, a imitation that replaced him. Politicians left him, corruption is their recession. So he grabs his Smith and Wesson, says he'll teach him all the lesson, like get down on the ground. It's a stick up, nobody make a sound. Don't even hiccup or I'm emptying around. I'm done playing games, so I'm going down in flames. Let it rain over Washington. It's a stick up, nobody make a sound. Don't even hiccup or I'm emptying around. I'm done playing games, so I'm going down in flames. Let it rain over Washington. No off as he lost his pension, sunk into depression. Congress is defecting, he's been adding to the tension. Came back from war and he's been post-traumatic stressing. Can't afford his medicine, he's took for his aggression. He needs help, relying on the system that rejects him. Took away his benefits but left him with his weapon. Bought a one-way ticket, he sent him the thicket to do the only thing that he think will make a difference. Like, get down on the ground, it's a stick up, nobody make a sound. Don't even hiccup or I'm empty in a road. I'm done playing games, so I'm going down in flames. Let it rain over Washington. It's a stick up, nobody make a sound. Don't even hiccup or I'm empty in a road. I'm done playing games, so I'm going down in flames. Let it rain over Washington. There's a cold wind blowing, I'm just running and preparing, yeah. There's a cold wind blowing, and it's coming for America. And it's coming for America. Get down on the ground, it's just sick up, nobody make a sound. Don't even hiccup or I'm empty in a road. I'm done playing games, so I'm going down in flames. Let it rain over Washington. It's a stick up, nobody make a sound. Don't even hiccup or I'm empty in a road. I'm done playing games, so I'm going down in flames. Let it rain over Washington.